This week in VR 2024 is well upon us now, and we go through our VR New Year's resolutions as well as our hopes and predictions for the year. And also get involved, let us know in the YouTube comments, the Discord, or on the Spotify comments what some of your hopes and predictions are from 2024. Obviously, we know the Quest 3 Lite is right around the corner, but what are some of the games that you really want to see? Elsewhere, we also talk about our App Lab Pick of the Week. Yes, a brand new segment to the end of the show, looking at some of the smaller titles on the App Store. Well, on the Quest App Lab Store, rather. All that and more, so let's talk Oculus. Let's Talk Oculus, a VR podcast, is proudly sponsored by the good folks at Patreon. If you want to support the show, join us on patreon.com/Let's Talk Oculus. What's up, Oculus nerds? Welcome back to Let's Talk Oculus, episode 119. I'm your host, as always, Dan from Playtest VR, and I'm joined by my co-host, as always. It's Samson. How's things doing, Samson? How you hanging?
I'd be hanging. You know, we got a big snowfall this afternoon and last night and currently.
Christmas
and
is
so
here.
I've been inside. Yeah. My computer had some issues, though, so I've been focused on reinstalling a lot of things.
Oh, fair enough. The PC problems that happen maybe once a year. The nice New Year's cleanup of the PC, maybe.
Yeah, precisely.
Fair enough. So we got a decent show for you today, guys. We've got obviously our predictions or like hopes that we'd want to see for 2024, as well as some VR news as always. But before we get into it, just a few things on the housekeeping. We just got a big flurry of new Discord members. So definitely, if you've not joined already, we've got that Discord link in the description below. Join in. We've got a lot of people in there shooting the shit.
Dan, yeah. we've got our first little walkabout thing going on, and it's starting up on Monday, January 14th. So if you're hearing this in the first few days, come on down, join on in. And in fact, it'll be really weekly, so you can come on in anytime. And there will be giveaways for those that partake.
Now, with this walkabout, do we have a time? I don't think I looked.
Yeah, there's a time, Dan. I just said
I haven't looked at the Discord.
January 14th.
No. The time. We know the date. We know the date. Do we know the time?
It's you got to just submit scores, so it's play at your own pace. Yeah.
Got it. I was obviously not reading the Discord this week. I have been, so I am also in the shadows right there. But that kind of leads perfectly into what we've been playing, and I've not been playing too much, but I have been playing a few things, and I kind of want to start off the conversation here and talk about the Xbox Game Pass. The cloud. So I finally got in earlier today to try it out. I was like, you know what, let's try it out. Let's see if it works with the PlayStation 5 DualShock controller, or DualSense controller rather. And we just had an abundance of issues. So from the start, we paired the controller. I paired the controller first, and it paired fine. But once it was paired, I couldn't use it or anything like that. Like it won't work, and then my touch controllers wouldn't work.
What do you mean it wouldn't work?
Like if I press the left, right, it just nothing would happen. And then
I see.
If I grabbed the touch controllers, it didn't work, and it was all like glitchy.
I think it only works in the app. Like I don't think even when it's synced, it works in like the Quest UI. You know what I mean?
So here's an interesting thing: when I held down the power off button to try and reset something, it went to that power off screen. And then all of a sudden my controller had the gyro working on the PS5 controller, and I could use that to select and all that stuff.
PS5.
Which was really interesting. Although I don't know if I'm mistaking that with my head actually doing the movement. I actually now second guessing myself. But anyway, that was an issue once. And then once I managed to toggle back from the power off screen back into Quest, my touch controllers all of a sudden started working again. So I got into Game Pass there. It said controllers connected. My PS5 controller worked absolutely fine navigating the menus. Okay, so far so good. I'm trying to play a game. Oh, I don't have a Game Pass subscription. Not a problem. I'll go buy one. $1 for 14 days trial. Okay, yeah, let's just try this out. I put in my credit card information. When I go ahead and put the month and the date, it's in like drop down boxes. Would not populate when I press the A button. Would just not come up at all. I tried with the touch controllers, just wouldn't come up at all. I said, okay, never mind. I'll come off this and I'll get Game Pass on my phone. And then do it that way. So I paid for the dollar on the phone. Then it didn't work on the app, so I had to log out, log back in, refreshed. Okay, all good. We're all set up. We've got Game Pass Ultimate. We've got the controller connected. Let's get into a game. Click on a game. I think I clicked on Halo Infinite first. Said it's a little busy right now. We've got a 20-minute wait before you come in.
It's a bold choice there.
And I was like, okay, maybe it's by game. Let's try something older. So I went to Gears of War 1, the Ultimate Edition. You got 2-minute wait. Oh, excellent. Perfect. Fantastic. We waited 2 minutes. 2 minutes is up. Sorry, it will take a little longer than anticipated. I wait 5 minutes. Still nothing. I'm like, okay, maybe we'll try something else. I come out of this. I go into a game, another game, and another game. 8-minute wait, 4-minute wait, 3-minute wait, 20-minute wait. And I was like, you know what? Okay, I want to pick Banjo-Kazooie on the Xbox 360. Surely no one's playing that game. I did that one, and that one had a long wait. But then I tried Cricket 22. I was like, no one's playing Cricket 22, especially at this time in North America. No one's playing Cricket 22. There was a wait for that one too, and I was like, okay, maybe it's not a game by game basis.
It's probably a server thing. Yeah,
maybe it's just a server thing. I was like, okay, never mind. End up going to another game. I think I went on Tomb Raider or something like that, and it said 5 or 8 minute wait, something like that. I said, you know what? I'm just gonna wait. Just gonna wait.
And then we'll wait. You got to be patient. I waited for a while at the time I played Gears.
So I waited 8 minutes. 8 minutes elapsed. Oh, sorry, it's gonna take a little longer. I'm like, oh, no worries. I'll keep the headset on my head, but I'll just go on my phone because I'm in pass-through mode and whatever. I'll just mess around with the phone. 15 minutes pass. Still waiting, and I was like, you know what? It's been about 45 minutes now since start to finish, almost an hour. I'm like, we'll just try this on a weekday. It might be a little bit better, or something. So, long story short, I think the controller works and connects fine after a lot of issues, but I don't know if that happens with these 360, the Xbox One controller when you pair it. Like, does it have input issues at the start? Did your controllers fade out, or is that just a software bug? I don't know. Let us know in the comments. Also, when I was trying to adjust the screen size and such, you have to like hold your you have to pinch on your finger like hand tracking. Yeah. And so I pinched on the finger and it just wouldn't move. It just wouldn't, none of the buttons would work for ages. And then finally, after like the 6th, 7th time of trying it, it started to move, and I could go to large and go to medium.
I think it was on the left hand though. Like there's one menu on the right hand, and it's
right hand is the
normal menu,
just the normal Oculus meta menu also. But yeah, so we'll see.
You need better internet.
I don't know if it's my internet or I just picked a bad time.
I mean, I had forgotten time how long I waited, but it was probably close to 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah. So I actually didn't add I didn't know, because I've never tried the cloud gaming before. I didn't know there was a wait or anything like that. I thought it would just boot in, just like I believe when I tried the PlayStation online gaming way back in the day. This was probably on the PS4. I remember you could just stream it pretty much directly, but I don't know if anyone was really using that service. I don't, it's different. It's the architecture's different. So stay tuned on my thoughts. I'll try it again on the weekday, and hopefully by next week. We've got 14 days. I'll let you know how it works with the PlayStation 5 controller. But as far as I'm aware, from just reading, someone posted on the Discord, I can't remember but who it was, but they said the PS5 controller works just fine. But I've had lots of issues just trying to get it connecting. But navigating the menus is fine. So the controller does the inputs work. But yeah, that's one of the things that I've been playing or trying to play. Samson, what have you been playing?
I have been playing
Suspense.
I've been getting into this UE VR mod a lot more. this last week.
What games did you play this time?
It's gotten me more into pinball again. So now I'm in Pinball FX instead of FX3 or whatever FX2 I was using before.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been playing a lot of that. The Charlie Brown Christmas table, to be specific, has been my favorite.
This is bringing me back to the earlier LTO episodes when you got Star Wars Pinball for the first time and were just absolutely addicted to that game.
That was a good one. Yeah, pinball's quite addicting, Dan. It is. Then I got into some Crash Bandicoot 4. Really enjoyed that one. I'm really not good, but nowadays in Crash, Dan, it doesn't matter how many times you die, really.
Oh, fair enough. How is that? What does it look like? Is it motion sickness driven, or does it just work really well?
The cutscenes you can get, like, I like to cut to 2D for the cutscenes because it'll just cut, like, you'll be moving around. So I like to watch them flat. They're kind of 3D though. It's kind of nice effect.
Cool.
Outside of that, I did it third person, and you just like the camera, so it's really fun for me.
Nice.
I actually really like it. I found a couple secrets because I was just looking around, peeking, peeking,
playing around with the new camera modes with your head, basically.
So I'm just gonna play a lot of these platformers, I think. But Dan, I really buried the lead here because what I really loved playing this week in the UEVR mod was Monster Truck Championship.
Monster Truck Championship. Wow.
Yeah. So there's so far there's races, there's sort of derby where you gotta do tricks and or cause destruction, and then there are drag races. All three pretty fun. I do first person for all of them except the trick shows because I can't be doing that. I can't be doing backflips in a monster truck first person. But the races and the drag races are very fun first person. I'm really loving it. I played for 90 minutes straight last night.
What a hidden gem. What a hidden gem.
Yeah. $4 in the last Steam sale, Dan. I've already got my money's worth, I promise you.
Oh, for sure. And for those of you who don't really know or missed it like last time or such, this UE mod is completely free, right, to use. And it just works for pretty much every single
you got to do
game.
for like the third person shooters into first person, you got to mess with cam work and stuff. For these I basically have been trying to find the games where I just want to be immersed in, but not really move around in. The shooters take a bit more work, I find, right? Like, because then you're always looking where I'll want to be moving your controller, whereas the driving, it just makes sense to me.
Got it. And how does, like, if someone wants to get into it today, how do they get into it? Is it a website that they go into, or is it something they download off Steam?
It's a GitHub. But I recommend going to YouTube and finding somebody's beginner guide, perhaps Paradise Decay, Beardo Banjo, Gamertag, etc.
Nice, fair enough.
They've all got pretty good UEVR. And I forget their YouTube channel. Waifu something. Waifu Destroyer. I don't know. Void, put it in the comments, please. It's something. They've got a lot of YouTubes
of tutorials.
Dan, you've been playing anything else? Because I can go into my real VR too.
Yeah, I have. I also started playing the Lost Recipes, which is a fairly older game.
Ooh.
Yeah. For those who don't know, Lost Recipes is a game which has different cultures. I can't remember how many. I want to say 5 different cultures.
So all of them.
Yeah, every culture in there. So you start off with Greek, and that's the one I'm on currently. And basically, there's 3 different recipes there. So you start off with something simple, and you have to make.
What you cooking?
Well, the first one was just olives and pita. So what you'll do is you'll marinate
for the Americans,
olives.
It's pita
or pita. You call it pita?
Yeah, like
Peter Parker bread. Peter Griffin bread. Okay. And your pitas.
It's not an arm pita. All right.
Okay. But the thing is, the whole point of it is that you it's not like you're learning the recipe from scratch, like all the ingredients or such, but you get an idea of how to make it. So you're adding these type of grains. You mash the grains to make the flour, and then you make the dough, and then you put it in a clay oven, and then you're marinating the olives, and then you're serving it up that way.
You got some good cooking terms there. You're learning.
Yeah, exactly. I do enjoy cooking in the real world. This one's a little bit interesting. It's a little rough around the edges. I'm not sure if I'm liking it too much.
Is it hand tracked?
No. Controller tracked, which is totally fine. It's just that you're basically, there's a recipe card that comes up, and you're just following the recipe per se, but it doesn't really. I don't know. There's no real skill involved or anything like that. They do say as soon as you as soon as you present the order, once it's all done, this ghost kind of tastes it, and they tell you if you needed more salt or you needed this or you needed that. But the thing is, you're pretty much, there's no measurements per se. Maybe you put a teaspoon of salt in or something like that, but when you're putting in a third cup of wine, for example, you just keep pouring it until it makes a noise, and then you're good to go. So it's a little bit weird. It's a bit rough. I like the idea of having more of a realistic version of Overcooked in a way, just because you're making these.
Are you timed?
You're not timed. You're not timed. It's more like you're just making the recipes. They're a very realistic version in a way.
I mean, time exists in real life, Dan.
Time does exist in real life, but so you're not timed. There's no time to. There's no it's no a game element. It's more of a educational kind of game to understand how these recipes are made.
I got you. You're learning about what old Greek people used to make when they,
or even to this day, in terms of how.
Day?
Oh yeah. There's all these recipes are from centuries ago, but they're people still make this in Greece, for example.
I see. That's
so you're just learning how
they were
some
lost.
of the lost recipes. Yeah, that's fair. They're definitely not lost. The last recipe which I've not got up to is souvlaki, and that's a dish that you can get anytime, and people make that all the time. So yeah. Some
things are better left lost, Dan.
The second recipe I did, you had to make this wine with honey wine, kind of something like that, and you were meant to present it in this interesting a very flat looking jug, shall I say. I've never seen this jug before, but as soon as I was bringing it to the table to present it, I spilled all the wine on the floor. So I failed that recipe. But I don't know if I can recommend it. There is a trial, a 20-minute 20-minute trial, because I don't think the game's that long in general. So if you're interested by any of what I've just been saying, I think it's about $15 or so. The lost recipes. You can fact check on that, but yeah, I like the concept. It's just right now it's not gripping me. Maybe I will jump into it and see if I. Oh, there you go. It's not that expensive. USD. There we go. So $9.99 USD. It's something that I've had on my library for a while, but yeah, not gripping me too much just yet. I like the idea, but the execution at the moment is a bit lost, shall we say.
Nice.
Over to you, Samson.
It could use some more cooking in the oven, I guess.
Use a bit more salt.
I got you. Dan, I got back into Smash Drums. I cannot get enough of the Blink-182 and the Sum 41 song.
I keep forgetting. I really want to play it. Dan, I just totally forgot.
Would you remember already?
I keep forgetting. I keep forgetting to play that one. Yeah, I need to play the pop. Anyway, continue.
I'll continue. Got into Breachers, my Friday night Breachers. I played absolutely terribly, but one of my teammates was streaming and was using a catwalk, and that was interesting.
Oh,
that was interesting.
Okay.
So you can find it. You can find it out there. I forget his name off the top of my head. VR Ender, Ender's VR Arcade. Yep,
sure.
Ender's VR Arcade. Yep. So you can find the Breachers game there. Anyway, yeah, that was a good time. It's a good time. And Breachers has been doing their VR Master League, I believe it's called, and you can watch them on the YouTube. And I watched a lot of that this weekend, Dan. It's pretty good high level Breachers. They're playing for like skins or something. I don't know, but yeah,
that's cool. That's becoming an esport, which is great.
Yeah, it's pretty dang cool. And they had an exclusive interview with one of the devs. Basically said ranked is right around the corner. New maps are further around the corner, but not too many corners. And they have sounds like the very beginnings of a potential next game going forward. So,
a new game. All of us. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't sound like it'd be coming out anytime soon, but I think they're always on to the next.
Speaking of new games, a company that is due for their new game at some point this year, the Forever games. I jumped into Forever Pool because I wanted to try the mixed reality update. I haven't jumped into Pool for ages, to be honest. Probably not since it came out. And first of all, the mixed reality, you can't. The table is fixed in terms of size. The pool table,
so you need space,
and it's too big for my room.
I don't have a full size pool table, right?
Yeah. It's literally a full size.
But
and it's
when you say it's too big, Dan, can't you take shots from standing inside the table?
You can, yeah, you can. But that kind of ruins the immersion, kind of thing, So I'd rather just play it in VR in that point, to be honest. Because in the VR it's different. The table's kind of, you can walk around essentially, right? Quite easily. So the mixed reality I didn't play because it was just too big, but. Playing pool, my gosh, it's kind of difficult. I need to practice again because I was playing a easy person and they smoked me 3 times in a row, and I couldn't. They absolutely smoked me. There was probably 4 or 5 balls at a time, and I was like, "What is going on? This is meant to be easy mode."
It's like me playing bocce.
Completely smoked me, but yeah, I do enjoy. I just need to. I haven't played that for ages, and I really want to get back into it because I do love me some pool. I'm a big fan. When I went back to the UK over Christmas, I did play a lot of pool, and it was good to get back into it. But yeah, it would be nice to I do find the controls pretty good in general. It's a bit weird at first because you're not holding it perfectly like you would with a pool cue in real life. But it works. What they've done, it works. You just need to get used to aiming, because that's the hardest part in this one. You can bring up the lines, so when you're aiming, it will bring up the lines for you. So I should probably do that just to get. It's too easy, yeah. But I thought I might as well just bring that up next time, just so I can get used to how the aiming feels, and then take them off afterwards. The training wheels. Yeah. But yeah, that's all the games I've played. I've not really got into Assassin's Creed. I haven't played Asgard's Wrath yet. And such. It's been a weird week because I flew back last week from the UK, and I've been jet lagged up till a couple of days ago, so I've just not really fancied the VR as much this week. But we will get into it. Maybe that's a New Year's resolution, is to play more VR on a weekly. But we'll get into that in a moment. Anything else before we move on to our main topic?
For sure. I got my brother into Racket Club finally. We played one match. That was, it was pretty good. He didn't have enough space, but just wanted to show it to him, get him into it for the next time. Now we're all ready. And then I got into Golf Plus with my buddy who I convinced to get a Quest 3 for Christmas. So
nice.
That was pretty good. And that same friend, he's a big sports buff, right? He watched the entire Celtics game in VR.
No way.
The entire Celtics game. He really enjoyed it.
Nice. And that was in the full immersion. Did he watch it? Was that the?
Yeah, it was a 180.
On the court kind of feel. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. That's really great. I'm really sad that I can't try that here in Canada.
Loser. Got a VPN. I did ask him for some pros and cons, so I'm going to go ahead and read those out for anybody who wants some pros and cons from somebody who's pretty new to VR but's been a huge sports fan. Mm-hmm. I'll give the pros first here. You feel like you're there for way less than those tickets would cost in real life. There's no commercials. Timeout entertainment's pretty cool. That's honestly my favorite bit. You don't have to travel to and from the game or worry about crowds and traffic. See unique views of the coaches and the player interactions. It's being monitored by someone. So when a player, when it's like when it's being blocked, they'll cut the cameras to where the best place to see it is. Onto the cons. Resolution isn't too sharp. You get much more detail if you had like a 4K TV or whatever. You can't really watch with friends unless they have a headset too. It's pretty expensive for League Pass. He has the 3 months free that he got, I think, with buying the Quest 3. I'm not sure. And he's only really interested in one team. I should tell him that you can, I think, only buy it for one team. But anyway, then there's buffering. His internet's kind of slow, so that's an issue for him. Sounds like it might be an issue for you if you had potentially used it. And sometimes your view is obstructed by a coach or player, in which case then you have to watch the Jumbotron or whatever. And that was his list of golf. Of
NBA.
NBA.
NBA. That's cool. Yeah. I really wanna try it, and I'm just looking as you were saying all those how to install ExpressVPN on Quest, and you can do it via SideQuest. I'm not sure if that's gonna work with the app. I mean, X Stadium, I think, is the app, right? That you use to run it.
And you can watch them in Horizon too, but the X Stadium might be the one to trick.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna add it to my list of things to do. And then try ExpressVPN because
I did some of the coolest VR chatting I've done in quite some time on a tour by Liv, and one of the worlds was based on or inspired by Stray, the game with the cat. And so it was a very dark environment in the rain, kind of. The lighting was incredible. There's robots. There's characters that you can interact with. They've got text boxes. You can go in and out of apartments. It was an incredible, one of the most detailed worlds I've ever seen. Only PC, obviously.
Sure.
And
sad.
Yeah, that was the best one. There was a couple others. One was it felt like a Disney ride. You kind of sat next to 3 or 4 of your friends, and it just took you like pterodactyl type of deals, sort of guided you, and it felt like a more elaborate 3D Disney ride.
That's cool.
I forget these names, but if you come by our Discord, I can post the rooms there.
Nice. Very good. Anything else, or is that the last of?
That wraps it up for been playing.
Very, very good. All right, let's move on to the main topic of the show. We're looking ahead at 2024, and we'll talk about obviously some VR New Year's resolutions or predictions or such. But in 2020, just to kind of do like a little bit of a spiel of 2024, what we're expecting is obviously the Quest 3 Lite to be released at some point. We're looking at maybe Q1 or Q2. That's where the heavy rumors are. And for those of you who don't know what that is, that will be replacing the Quest 2. We'll talk about the Quest 2 is now a permanent price reduction, which we'll talk about in part 2 under the VR news. But we already know that the Quest 3, heavily rumored, not officially, but will be out soon, and it will look probably. Yeah, the Quest 3 Lite, sorry. And that will keep the old lenses, how the Quest 2 has them, but it will include the new chipset that the Quest 3 has. So then, all rumors, but makes sense that it will keep the Quest 3's chipset that will allow it to play all of the games moving forward, because Meta did mention that there won't be any Meta Quest 3 exclusives until 2024. And once again, we'll talk a bit more about that in the part 2 in the news, but we'd probably expect, especially towards the end of the year, some of these exclusives to start trickling in.
More of them.
More of them. to start trickling in. So that's the main thing. Obviously, outside of Quest stuff, we've got the Apple Vision Pro, which is meant to be out maybe in the next month or two as well, to kind of trickle in to consumers in the US, which is quite big. In Also, we've got the Visor, which is from the Immerse team, which is for working in VR. So all of these, Quest, Visor, Apple Vision Pro, all different kind of market segments. Maybe the Visor and Vision Pro are closer together, but they're the major hardwares that we know.
The Visor's under $1,000.
It's 1,000 on the nose, I think. They just increased the price to like 1,000 on the nose, I believe. I could be slightly wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure they just did. But yeah, they're the three major hardwares. We don't really know anything. There might be a Steam Deckard. We don't know, which is the rumored Steam VR headset, but we don't know anything about that. In terms of a Meta Quest Pro 2, we also don't really expect that this year either. There's not been any rumors for that. So this year is going to be more about building on that Quest 3 ecosystem, right? Towards the end of 2023, we had a big flurry of games, which are all Quest 2 games at heart, really. Some of them got updates to Quest 3, but we know Arizona Sunshine's Quest 3 update, which has all the new graphics and such, that's been delayed for a while. We don't know when that's going to come, hopefully sometime this month. Same with Asgard's Wrath. They had like a more of a Quest 3 update. I actually don't know if that actually came out at the end of the year. I can't remember and such. So a 2024 of just gaming, I would say, in the end of the day. Now, in terms of games, before we get into like predictions or hopes here, I wrote down a couple noted ones that we know that's coming out really soon. We got Bulletstorm and The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Quest 3 edition coming out on January 16th, so in a couple weeks' time. Yeah, I'm hoping that Bulletstorm hits the mark. I'm really hoping that it does, but you just don't know with these things. And then in February, we got Stranger Things, which was delayed from November, I believe, till February now, no date. And there's a few other games coming, but Undercover took my fancy when I looked at the list of games coming. Undercover is like a time crisis kind of shooter with a nice like cartoony art style. So yeah, so that's coming in February too. I think that's mid-February or something. But there's a bunch of random other indie games coming. But the main ones, obviously, Bulletstorm and Stranger Things are the two big ones and such. But Samson, anything that you hope for 2024? Any predictions or just throw a hope in the air, kind of wishful thinking?
Yeah. I hope for one or two Meta Studio games similar to Sansara's. Similar to Asgard's Wrath 2. Not necessarily like that type of game, but like, big scope.
Yeah.
Big game.
With like a lot of hours and such, for example.
I don't even care about that. Just like a big type of game. Maybe a racing game, Dan. I'd love a racing game. Perhaps something about like Onward 2, I guess, or Grand Theft Auto.
I want to just jump on that. Actually, I think we're not in dire need, but there's a severe lack of racing games, and there might be a reason why to that. Especially maybe with the motion sickness. Maybe some people haven't really grasped on that. Maybe it's just the textures.
If there's anything UEVR has taught me, it's that how it's just reinvigorated my love of racing games now that I can be in them. I love it.
And Gran Turismo 7 on the PlayStation is a big hit for a lot of people who have the PlayStation VR 2. So I'm sure Meta look at that and go, okay, you know what, we could do with a standout racing game. Something that they may have had with Grid Legends, but actually put some time, money, and effort in to make it a bit more polished. I think that would be amazing, be fantastic. Now, I don't know if they should go the real sim option or they should do something like the monster trucks that you have.
Yeah,
Something
I love
wacky and fun.
Twisted Metal, something like, not necessarily Twisted Metal, obviously, wrong IP grouping,
Yeah.
but some sort of thing where you're shooty. I don't know. I love it.
Yeah, something that's a little bit less serious, but yeah, I agree because I think if they try and do something a bit more realistic, real sim like Gran Turismo, due to just how it looks, it might not bode well, but going for maybe a art like a Mario Kart kind of kart racer kind of feel, maybe that would work, with some cartoony graphics and such. Maybe that would be fun.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like it. I don't think they're going to announce GTA San Andreas. I think that might be gone. To be honest,
Dan, I'm just going to have that on every prediction for every going forward.
Because one time you will be right. Maybe.
I don't think so, but I'll just go down with the ship here.
So here's what I predict. I predict 3 big IPs, and I'll kind of just say them all, just as my predictions here. So the first one here, I'm predicting that Assassin's Creed Nexus 2 will be announced for 2025. Not
what? That's a quick turnaround.
For 2025, I think they probably just, would reuse basically the engine that they're currently in, but then do 3 new assassins or do further story or something. I think that's pretty much what they do, because I think Assassin's Creed 1 or Assassin's Creed Nexus has been so well received, that I think they'll already want to be starting jumping on that and starting working on it and such. And I can see them like in the showcase, of June showcase, the gaming showcase and such, announcing that Assassin's Creed 2 is going to be coming, but it won't be coming this year, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I got you.
But they'll do the same thing of like little tease. You kind of like how what is it, Behemoth, the game from Skydance Studios, which should be coming out this year. Yeah, which should be coming out this year. That was kind of teased a little bit, and obviously it's still not out yet, but I'm sure that will come out later on this year. But I think that's it. I think they'll want to keep the hype train for Assassin's Creed alive, and I think they'll announce it.
All right, Dan. You want another hope? Because I'm going to hope for this every time too, I think. No, I just want more. I want more Microsoft Meta, teamwork here. So I'm hoping for some sort of crossover to happen, Dan. I'm hoping.
In what way?
It could be anything. And they just bought, like, I don't know. They have Activision. They have Crash Bandicoot. I love Crash Bandicoot. They have Halo. They've got it all, Dan.
Oh, are you saying like? Are you saying a Microsoft VR IP?
Yeah,
is that what you're trying to say? Okay, yeah, I don't know if you
have Microsoft's some software type of deal. Yeah,
yeah.
I'd also love I feel like the better VR integration with their Office suite, but I haven't really tried it. So yeah, it just is through the grapevine. Really.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have been asking for the Quest link with their Xbox if they have one, Series X, so they can stream directly from the console rather than having to do it via cloud. So if they just have it connected, so they can just stream it flat screen. That's all. Kind of like a PlayStation Remote Play kind of thing. Or I don't know what the Xbox Remote Play is called, but you know what I mean. But just connect to your Quest and have it stream directly on there. I don't think that can. That you can already do that on your phone or through your. I believe you can do it through your computer as well with Xbox, and having that as an option. Obviously, PlayStation will never have it because obviously they have their own VR headset. But having Xbox get in bed with them and go, if you have an Xbox, you can just stream directly onto your Quest from the games that you have already, which would be nice. I feel like that'd be a great feature to have. And entice people to get an Xbox, but it would just be.
They don't care if you have an Xbox; they just want you in their ecosystem.
Exactly. Staying on the games, the other game that I think this is going to be one of the biggest games that will be released this year. I think finally, and I think I've predicted this before, but I think finally the Lone Echo series will be announced for Quest 3.
You think so?
I don't know if they're going to port the Lone Echo 1 or 2, or they're just going to do a new game, just like how Asgard's Wrath 2 is a new game and such. Yeah. So I don't know if they're going to do a Lone Echo 3 kind of thing. I'm not sure, but that IP is so strong and so big on the PC VR. That, and obviously Asgard's Wrath, their two biggest ones on the Rift, right? So it makes a lot of sense, because otherwise I don't think that ever came to Steam, right? Lone Echo. I think that's still locked on the Rift kind of store and the Rift obviously you can play it through. Can you play Rift games through a different VR headset? I'm sure you can.
Viveport or something like that.
Yeah, but you have to do it through obviously
maybe not Viveport. Yeah, I don't know what it's called. There's some way to. I believe
you have to do it through the Oculus app, right? The Oculus Store app. I forget, Rift Store or such. So that would make sense to me. I think that having that as a big IP, bringing that over, will be huge. Will be absolutely huge. And that will get me very excited. I can tell you that now.
That's what we want.
That's what we want.
Excited, Dan.
Any other hopes or predictions from you, Samson?
Well, this one's sort of a personal one, I guess. I just hope in general more people in my life start asking me about VR and AR.
That's more of a people thing. That's what you just hope.
Yeah, well, I hope that it becomes so much more prominent or it just comes up in people's lives, where they then think, oh, who do I know that I could ask about that? It's me, Dan. It's me.
That's you, the VR guy that everyone knows around your area and such. I like it. I'm gonna stick to games. I'm gonna do one more game one, then I'll have a final hardware one to kind of close it out. But the game one, I think if they're not doing this, then I'm very surprised. But I think Resident Evil 2 VR gets announced. I think Resident Evil 4 did so well for the
Quest 3.
For the Quest 3, yeah. I think Resident Evil 4 did so well for the Quest 2 when it was announced, and obviously it sold SKUs off the shelf, right? A lot of people bought the Quest 2 for Resident Evil 4. And Resident Evil 2, in my opinion, is another strong game in their library. It's my personal favorite out of all the ones I've played. It's a bit more horror-like than Resident Evil 4. I think Resident Evil 4 is more like a more actiony, right? Actiony horror. But having Resident Evil 2, I don't know. Have you ever played Resident Evil 2?
No.
So Resident Evil 2, one of the biggest things of it is that there is a villain, which for some reason is escaping me. I want to say it's Mr. X, but I could be slightly wrong. But anyway, he chases you across the map. For almost the whole game. He is walking around the map, and if he gets you, you're pretty much dead. But then you have to play the majority of the game with him on your tail. So you have to do all these puzzles in different rooms, and you got to listen to his footsteps because he's walking. And if he gets close, you need to go and hide. And he'll go into a room and look. And I think what I read as well, that he's not like programmed to just flash appear at certain times. He is literally just walking around the map over and over again. He doesn't just appear, he's just walking around. So you really gotta, play to what. And I always found it absolutely terrifying. I remember I was playing Resident Evil 2, the remake that came out on PlayStation 4 at the time, during the COVID times, and I was home alone for the first week and a half of COVID, and I was playing that, and I was just literally scaring myself to bed because just hearing his footsteps and getting that little suspense and anxious, like, oh shoot, I'm doing this puzzle halfway there, almost done. Can I get it done just before he opens the door? Slams open the door, kills me, and such. And it's brutal. And I would love, because Resident Evil 4 was such an success for them, to bring the next biggest one, in my opinion, to Quest for Resident Evil 2. I think that's a no-brainer. Now, I'm hoping that this happens this year. Maybe this is not for this year, but I'm hoping that it's announced. That's my biggest prediction and hope.
How about
Resident Evil 2?
How about like a new Resident Evil built for VR?
I think doing a new Resident Evil built for VR is one, too much effort and money would need to go into that compared to just porting a game. And also, I feel like if that was ever going to happen, they would do it on PlayStation first, because PlayStation, But if they can bring like Resident Evil 2, like a good solid remake version, just like in the same vein as Resident Evil 4 and Quest 2, but just maybe better graphics a little bit and such. Obviously, it's not ever going to be as good as what the remake looks like on PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5, but a good enough job that you're just in that world, I think that's good enough. I would play that again in a heartbeat, to be honest. But yeah,
very nice. Very nice.
Any other predictions or hopes from you?
No. None over here. What's your hardware one?
Go one more. So I mentioned the Quest 3 Lite we know is probably going to be released in the next few months, probably by April. I predict that it will cost $350, which is $50 more than what the Quest 2's current price was until this week. So I think it'll cost $350. I hope they get $299 instead, but I think it'll be $350. I think there'll only be one SKU, and it'll be 128 gigabytes, and that was it. There's no like higher SKU. Just keep it simple. And I think it comes in multiple colors, so you can pick an orange one, a blue one, or a white one.
There's no way.
There's no way. I don't think so, but I hope, because I can see the Quest 3 Lite being like the fun one that you buy for a child or someone who's just like a casual VR user, and having a bit of fun with it, going, yeah, you can have an orange one or you can have a blue one. Those colors might be horrible on the Quest 3, but
it would differentiate it from the two.
It will differentiate it, and I think fitness will be a major push for the system. I think they'll try and drive home that this is the fitness one, and probably the lightest Quest 3 that you could buy, because obviously we'll have probably less parts and features in there. But yeah, I think fitness will be a major push. But I'd love it if they could bring multiple colors and build like a fun version, to it. That'd be great. I'm looking at I remember the Switch, Nintendo Switch Lite. That one comes in like multiple different colors and such, and it's just a bit more fun and casual and such. So, yeah, I hope they do bring more colors. Like I said, orange and blue probably are gross, but at the same time, that's just what their soft strap ones that they got. So I was like, that was probably the colors, if they're going to do it, is probably those colors that you can buy. But yeah, all right, that's our predictions and hopes. Samson, any New Year's resolutions to sing home about?
Yeah, I got I guess a couple here, Dan.
Go on.
So, in the spirit of live open mic here, he's often talked about trying to get more light to less popular games, I guess. And so I want to try to do that. And I want to leave more store reviews for games, Dan, because I don't really tend to leave very many store reviews. And so those are two of them. And then, Dan, my big one. I want to play more online public multiplayer. And so really, my New Year's resolution is to play more resolution games.
I like that one. I was actually had a couple too, and one of it was exactly the same as you. I actually want to play more online multiplayer games. I don't really play that much unless it's with the Discord group. I don't really play any public ones. And I remember when I first got my Quest 2, I jumped in a lot of those and had a great time, especially in Population 1 and such. So I would actually love to maybe play something like Forever Pool or something with just a random, or get back to some...
They could probably train you.
yeah, or some Golf Plus or something like that. I remember you used to love playing Golf Plus and such online. So yeah, that's one of mine. And my second one is just to try and complete 12 games for this
one a
whole of the
month.
year. One a month. I don't know if I don't know one a month is going to be the time frame, but by the end of this year, when we look back on 2023, I want to be like, yeah, I completed 12 games, and it could just be some easy 3-hour games. Maybe I finished Lost Recipes. Great, that counts. But yeah, I want to finish 12 games in VR. That's my two New Year's resolutions. Let us know in the comments, in the YouTube comments, or in Discord and such, if you have any predictions or hopes of 2024, and also if you have any New Year's resolutions, any VR New Year's resolutions. It could even be fitness related, but through VR, like hitting a specific streak in Supernatural or such. So definitely let us know. It'll be nice to see in the comments below. But yeah, that will do for part one. In part two, we'll cover some of the news stories surrounding the Quest, VR news, and all that jazz. So we'll see you then.
Hey, we know public lobbies in VR games can be a bit toxic, feel a bit empty at times. That's why we created the Let's Talk Oculus Discord, a friendly community that you can join for multiplayer meetups, general VR chat, the game, and chat about VR, fitness motivation, and there's even a very impressive 3D printing channel. Join over 100 of our community members in the Let's Talk Oculus Discord for free. The link is right in the description.
All right, welcome back to part two, the VR news. And we're going to start with more of a... Actually, we're going to start with a couple sad news stories. The first one, the Journey to the Foundation developer architect. No, it's not architect. Archaeat. Samson, any help on that?
Archaeact?
Sure. Okay, they confirmed layoffs, unfortunately, and they didn't kind of say why. It could be due to the sales or of how they did, but yeah, unfortunately, they've done some layoffs, and they've asked on Twitter and such for people to post job descriptions so they can send it on to their former employees, but. We've had quite a lot of layoffs recently, to be honest. And I just looked on Upload VR's article because they kind of dived deeper into this. And they said First Contact said that there was a lack of support for VR within the industry, which is a big factor. And also Ready at Dawn said that the casualties were due to Meta's year of efficiency because Meta posted a bunch of losses in the... I think in the AR, in the Reality Labs division, and that also caused further layoffs into the companies that they have a stake in or such, or invest in. But yeah, we never liked obviously layoffs. It seems to be a lot recently in this industry. I guess I probably contributed to it by not playing Journey to Foundation at all. I have it, but I haven't played it. This also could be a problem of like, I know internally you have deadlines and all that stuff, but the fact that this came out in the midst of The Seventh Guest, Ghostbusters, Assassin's Creed, Pavlov around the corner and such, it's just too much.
It's a narrative driven game with not a lot of action, not very heavy on the action, and generally your VR hype machine people are not so much narrative driven and are more action driven.
Mm-hmm.
So that probably played into it, I bet. First Contact, that game, Firewall Ultra, didn't seem to have a very good release.
No, PlayStation VR, right? That
Solaris didn't have a very good release. Mm-hmm. And so, things just sort of probably snowballed, and they needed something to go well, and PSVR 2 not really selling as well as they'd hoped, and their game not being as good as everyone had hoped. Sort of combined the two. But yeah it's no bueno. Hopefully they land on their feet.
Yeah, absolutely. And hope there's less layoff moving forward. On another news stories, which is kind of sad in a completely different way. Meta has removed the TV casting from the Quest for now, at least. So basically, before what you could do is you could cast your Quest to a Chromecast or an Android TV, but they've removed it due to reliability issues. Now you can still cast to a mobile app or a web browser, but
yeah.
So I've done the phone many times.
Did you used to? Yeah, did you ever cast
on the phone? Cast? I didn't have a Chrome TV or Chromecast, so I never did it.
Reliability issues I encountered. So I get that it sucks, and it probably not everybody else had those reliability issues, but it would cut out for me a lot. You'd be trying to figure out what was going on, and it was a hassle. And it honestly has always worked better for me just using the phone app. And then you can just mirror the phone app to your TV, to your device. I think you can do that to Chromecast. I don't know. I started doing it to my Apple TV. So
yeah, and you can obviously cast to your computer as well, which I only did when you first could do it, and it did actually work the best out of all the reliability. I remember when I had the Quest 2 and I never could connect to the phone, it just never worked. But then with the Quest 3, it's not really had any issues. There might be a slight sound delay or something, but nothing major like that. And it's been really fun because I remember putting my dad into it, and I could also change the app through there and recenter him, which is really fun. But yeah, I think this is important because it's important to have, because showcasing what VR looks like to friends and family, especially around the holidays and stuff like that, is really important for them to see what you're seeing. It does definitely brings everyone in a way. That's why playing on the PlayStation VR 2 is great, because it's always casting, because obviously you're connected, hardwired connected. And same with PC VR, right? Just a quick quote here. Mark Rabkin, who is the VP for VR for Meta, he said, "We really want it to work 100% reliability, but it was not officially supported by Google, which they're working on for official support." It says, "In the meanwhile, improving our infra, I don't know what he's mean there, and narrowing the options to where we can guarantee stability." They're investing a lot in at the moment, so I'm pretty sure it will be back with that quote. It's just as when it gets better,
working out the kinks
is an important feature. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, exactly. So, moving on, the Quest 2, that little old device, that is now at $250 and it's there to stay. I believe that price cut happened around Black Friday, for the $250 deal, and they must have got like skyrocketed around Black Friday in terms of sales, and they've just decided to just keep it $50 less than a $300 price tag that it was currently at.
It's definitely a clearance sale then.
Yeah, so it's $250 for the 128, and it's $300 for the 256, and also the accessories.
Cheaper for the refurb. I think it's like $230 for the refurb.
Yeah, it's an extra like $20 or $30 less as well. And the accessories have all dropped as well. So, for example, we've got the Elite Strap, which has gone down from $60 to $50. The Elite Strap with battery's gone down by $30. So a bunch of them have gone down by like $10, $15 or so.
Get that stock out of here.
Get that stock out of here. The Quest 2 is definitely on its deathbed right now. Obviously, it will be still supported by a lot of casual type games, I would say, you would think. But that kind of moves on to the last news story here, and that's Townsman VR. So Townsman VR is a game that came out on PC VR and I believe on the PlayStation VR 2 already, but it's just hit, I believe it's just come out for the Quest 3, potentially. Yeah, I did not write it in the games out this week, but it did come out.
It's already out.
It's already out. This is the first ever Quest 3 exclusive. It's not available for Quest 2 and such. So don't download it if you have a Quest 2, or at least it shouldn't let you. But if you don't know this game, it basically is like a God Sim strategic city building kind of game.
It's pretty fun.
Have you played it on the PC?
Yeah, Dan, I played it, I think, around like February or February or March of this year, maybe April. I don't know. Around the time it came out on PSVR, I picked it up, and yeah, it's pretty fun. I haven't beaten it. I think I played about 8 hours or so.
That's a good time.
It looks good. It's pretty fun. If you like chilling out, maxing, relaxing outside of school, you know.
You do like a God Sim too, like Deus.
I love it. I love a good relaxing game where you just sit there and move your pieces around. Almost reminiscent of like cell phone games where you set the people up to build the things and then you watch get built over time, and then you're on to your next task, etc.
Yeah, fair play. First Quest 3, probably most people wouldn't have predicted that this would be the first Quest 3 exclusive. I remember when they did Quest 2 exclusives for the first time, and Resident Evil was the one. And then that was the only one, and then the year after it started to happen. But yeah, it looks like we've got our first one.
They waited to 2024, Dan.
And I got a feeling that the Walking Dead Saints and Sinners that comes out on the January 16th is not going to be a update. I think it's going to be a standalone, but I could be completely wrong. And I think that will also be obviously Quest 3 exclusive because it's meant to be for the Quest 3. Although it does look like a texture update. But I don't know. Every time they've talked about it, it always feels like it's going to be its own version of the game. But I don't know. We'll see in a week's time or such, or maybe it has been announced or what it's going to be, and I've just completely not seen it or misread it.
Only time will tell, Dan.
Only time will tell. Okay, that will do for part 2, the VR news, and part 3 will wrap up with no games out this week, but at the App Lab pick of the week. So we'll see you then. Let's Talk Oculus is available on all good podcast platforms and some rubbish ones as well. If you want to see the video version, it's available on YouTube and Spotify. And also, if you love us so much, then consider throwing us $1 at patreon.com/Let's Talk Oculus. Back to the show. All right, welcome back to part 3, App Lab Game of the Week edition, shall we say, because there is no games out this week, but obviously Townsend VR is the one that came out very recently. Samson, do you have an App Lab pick of the week that you wanted to share?
Yeah. So this is sort of just to give people a little context to what this is. As mentioned in my New Year's resolution, want to highlight more games. A lot of these games happen to be on App Lab, and so yeah, I've actually mentioned this one a few times on the podcast previously, but I figured I'd start with something I was pretty familiar with, and that is Neodori Infinity. That is Neodori Infinity, and it is $9.99 USD. And I'll read a little bit of their blurb. Choose your 80s ride and start the journey. Neodori Infinity is a high-speed road trip inspired by retro arcade classics with powerful electronic beats and incredible drifts. And Dan, that pretty much nails everything I wanted to highlight. It's a racing game. It's got reasonably basic graphics. Sound design is superb. And the soundtrack is fantastic. Like you're just rocking out, right? You can do first person. I personally like to be behind the car, third person. Makes the drifting a lot easier. Oh yeah, it has drifting, and essentially you're collecting coins along the track to unlock cars. I think there's over 50 of them. The races are time trials. Sometimes you race rivals. You got to avoid cops, speed traps, etc. You have to pick up gas, and you can pick up speed boosts while avoiding traffic and walls.
Very good.
Yeah. So if you're into any of that, Neodori Infinity.
Do you have to pay for this one, or is it free?
Yeah. It's $9.99. $9.99.
It's $9.99. Very good. Very good. My App Lab pick of the week that I've been playing, which I didn't mention at the top of the show because I didn't want to say it already, is Home Detective. Home Detective. I believe you own this one, Samson. Right? Yeah, when I downloaded this, I saw that you have it already.
Of course.
Of course. Home Detective is free to download. It is mixed reality, and essentially, I love the concept of this game. It's very kind of Unity rough, if you know what that kind of means. It's definitely an App Lab title and such, but the whole aspect of it is really fun. So basically, to make the mixed reality work, you need a play space of 3 meters by 2 meters. Okay, if you don't have that, then it will ask you to go into VR mode, which will go into this VR house and such. So when I did it in my bedroom, I had to go into the VR house. When I did it in my living room, I could actually have it placed out, which was actually quite fun. But essentially what it is that there's six cases, and the first case is free and the rest of them cost $2.99 if you wanted to add them in. The first case is actually quite straightforward, and it's the only one I've done so far because I played this today. But I do actually want to go into the inextricable cases. But essentially, a crime has happened and it's all been played out in front of you. So you have your crime scene in front of you, like a virtual crime scene. So the one I did, which is the free one, is a jewelry theft. And you see it's like you're walking into the crime scene for the first time. And then you have a bunch of tools that you'll use to basically find out, different clues. So basically, you have this like UV kind of torch, which you can kind of see the footprints and such. You have this little duster kind of thing for fingerprints. You have this not radioactive. That doesn't make any sense. You have this.
Did you feel like you're in a movie?
Did I feel like I was in a movie? Not exactly that immersive, I would say. I wouldn't say it's that immersive, but you have this like scanner thing, and then what else do you have? Oh, then you try and solve the case. So when you press solve the case, the detective or the lead detective or whatever asks you, okay, where did they enter from? How was the crime committed? What did they steal or such? And
what happens if you get it wrong?
Well, so they give you a list of suspects, and then so the first time I did it, I actually completely destroyed it. I got an F rating. I got the wrong suspect and everything, and then I realized
criminals
what I did
love you.
Completely wrong. But what is cool is that you have clues, and the clues, especially in the first one, is quite obvious of what they are. You also have a couple hidden clues in there that there's no hints or whatever. So you got to really use your detective skills to find the hints. So if you end up completing it, getting the right suspect, and getting the clues, you'll probably get a B rating, which is fine. But if you can find the hidden clues, if you can find the hidden clues, you also unlock this confession thing, which I don't know what is because I've not got this. I can't find it.
So it's like an alt ending or something.
Yeah, I don't know if you go into the confession room. I think it says confession room, but I don't know if you go into the confession room and you get to see the suspect and say how they confess or whatever. I don't know, but you can't. I don't know because I can't find the bloody last ones.
You're almost there though, yeah.
So yeah, a very rough around the edges game. It is very like bare bones Unity kind of game that maybe one person has kind of made on their own, but at the same time it's such a good concept that I think it's a great idea, and I would like to see this one developed a little bit and have a bit more polish on it moving forward for sure. So I'd definitely give this. I mean, I'm looking at the App Lab.
Is it active? The development, that is?
Yeah, so just a month ago, the final case came out. I think just after Christmas or something. So it might be less than a month ago, I think. So yeah, they've been updating it. I think case 6 is the last and final. 6th and final case for Home Detective has just been released. So the last one's just been put in. So yeah, I'm just looking. He's also put some updates, quality of life updates. So yeah, it says if the game transitions into the main store and there's demand, I will try and reevaluate the situation and make it better and such. So we'll see if it does well. But yeah, it's just one person, I think. I think his name's Chris. So yeah, definitely check out Home Detective. But that's our 2 App Lab picks of the week. If you have an App Lab pick, let us know in the comments or on the Discord that we should check out. and we'll check it out. And if we like it or like the concept, we'll say it in the next week show. And we'll try and make this a weekly thing for at least one of us, because I'm sure Samson you'll be playing in, but I'll try and get into more App Lab games too. More App Lab games too. Perfect. All right, Samson. Anything else to round off the show, or?
Dan, just got my weekly send off here.
Good
news will come to you from far, far away.
Maybe through a virtual world. Who is to say? Thanks everyone for listening. Thanks everyone for watching. As always, if you're on the audio, we have the YouTube version. If you want to see our faces, if you're on the video, you can watch us. You can listen to us in your car on all good audio platforms and some rubbish ones as well. We will see you next week for more Let's Talk Oculus goodness. So farewell for now.